Hey, so I am a plant manager in my family's third generation business. We're a manufacturing company. We have around 14 employees, around 6.5 million in revenue. And I need to figure out how to kind of get my uncles, the owners, to the table to start succession planning, which I feel like they probably should have started many moons ago.
How old are
they? They are between 66 and 67.
Oh, yeah, they're 15 years late.
Yes. And it scares me that we haven't started these conversations.
Me
and
too.
I feel like this is where a lot of these family transitions sort of fall apart. The only good thing is that I have sort of taken over and become the wheel in the center of this spoke. The
Are there any other family members from your generation involved?
Yes.
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah.
Yes, unfortunately, yes. So about, call it 8 years ago, one of the owner's daughters was brought in, and she was there to be sort of a salesperson, and she sort of has pivoted to take my dad's role, actually, after he retired. So she does a lot of, she's like a liaison between customers that we outsource jobs to and, the customer. And, she's done well. Another cousin has since been brought in who is, one daughter from both owners, which is very interesting. She is our HR person at this point. And that is sort of where this starts to feel like it's getting kind of sticky because everything is so up in the air. None of us, and I'm sort of being the plant manager. I'm there 50, 60 hours a week, Saturdays, Sundays. And the two of them, I'm not going to see them on a Saturday or a Sunday.
If they become the owners, are you going to stay?
That's kind of my decision to make because, do I want to be a 1/3 owner, but do, 80% of the work? And, I don't know what someone does in the situation.
What would happen if all five of you went to dinner, the two uncles and the two ladies and you? And you say, guys, we've got to start talking about this. I cannot function anymore in the unknown. And so we've got to start talking about what your plan is and how we can execute that plan. I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody. I'm not trying to steal anything. I'm not threatening anybody. But I have to have some relief because I'm working 60 hours a week and I have no idea why I'm doing that.
I think we could probably get something hashed out. I think what's happening, though, is for the first time in probably, 6 or 7 years, they have a business that runs on its own, it grows on its own, and they say, to me, it seems like it's why even sell it if it's growing? Why pass the torch if what I'm doing now is, kicking a can down the road, which I, am not a fan of, but in my mind, that's where my mind goes.
You mean they want to own it and run it just like it is until they're 87?
Exactly.
Well, that's not an option if I'm you.
It's not, no. But that's another thing is,
So they need to know that. They need to know I'm not going to stay here and be merely the plant manager for 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So you need to know that. That's one of my things. So this is why the unknown is not okay.
As a plan.
Yeah. I need to know what you all are thinking, and you need to know what I'm thinking, because all five of us today are integral parts of this, but it cannot continue exactly the way it is for 20 years because I won't be here.
Okay. Yeah, pretty much where my thoughts were. It's just it's a tough one, and it's I can see why this gets.
And then you can start to have some conversations, and let's walk it through. Let's start. Okay, maybe the two uncles start to say, okay, let's talk about turning it over to the three of you. You say, all right, that's fine. We need to separate ownership from the role at the company. If we're each 1/3 owners, that's one thing, and we'll be paid for that. But then we get paid in addition to that, in addition to the profits for sharing our 1/3, we get paid for our day job. And I'm working 60 hours and y'all are working 40.
Mm.
And so our day jobs are different, okay? I'll give you an example. The three Ramsey children, they're not children, my kids, though, grown adults, are the owners of Ramsey, all but 1%. You probably heard me say that.
Oh, yeah.
My oldest daughter does not work here. She runs our family foundation, but she's 1/3 owner. Rachel is a personality. That's a completely different role than president, which is Daniel. They each get paid for their respective jobs wherever they work, doing whatever they do working. And then they are also 1/3 owners. And you separate those roles from their ownership role. If you try to combine them, it's impossible to make it fair that the plant manager does different things than the HR director, because the HR director really doesn't need to be there on Saturday unless something's broken.
Understandable. But so how would you tackle the quote unquote partnership? Because I know that you are a partnership, ownership won't fail. The fact that my two uncles have been partners for their entire lives, I don't feel like I'll be able to convince them that a partnership would be, detrimental. We'd hate each other at Christmas, that kind of thing.
My preference would be that I buy all of you out. That would be what I would say at the dinner.
Okay.
But if you want to talk about if the ladies want to be owners with me, then let's just talk about how that governance works.
Okay. See, that was my thing. I didn't know if it would be unreasonable.
They're not sisters, right?
No, they aren't.
Okay, so they're 3 different first cousins. Then.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, 2 of you could vote against the other one, and that's how the business could be governed. It'd be pretty simple. Or we agree to have a consensus on major things or whatever. But they may not want to be the owner.
I don't. I'm not so sure. It seems like they have other interests in life, and it seems like they've sort of been shoehorned into this. But it just seems like
just say that out loud.
Yeah, it almost sounds like I don't want to say a backhanded sort of thing to say to them, but it is the truth. I don't want to.
I mean, listen, I don't want to be mean, but I'm here because I really wanted to be here. Sometimes when I'm looking at you guys, I don't know if you really wanted to be here or you just kind of came out of obligation to your dad.
Yeah.
And if I misread that, just tell me. That's okay. Say, no, I'm passionate about this place. I want to be here. I want to run it. Or they may look at you and go, I'd love to be free of this place.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah. I would just say some awkward, kind, calm, low volume, low octave things at dinner. Get a private room at dinner at a nice steakhouse and just start having a conversation. And in one night, you're going to learn a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've just sort of been putting this off.
Everybody's sweeping the lump under the rug, and you got a lumpy rug.
Very, very lumpy.
Yeah. And just because you hadn't talked about it. And I'm always amazed that half the crap I dreamed up in my head isn't even true when I get to these things.
That is definitely a possibility.
Every one of us has a drama queen living in our brain.
I just want to be, like I said, we've only had the discussion once or twice where we said, hey, with the lawyers, we need to get together with the lawyers and figure out how we're going to pass this thing along. And that is the extent of the conversation.
I would just say, I'm really nervous about the fact that we've not done it. And I'm not okay. I'm not okay with it not being done. And I'm not okay being here 20 years from today sitting exactly where I'm sitting. As a matter of fact, I won't be here that long doing this. So I need to see, for me to stay in this position, I need to see some progress on this issue, and let's begin talking about it if we want to work. If I buy all of you guys out, if we work together, if you felt like would you like to be free of this place? That kind of stuff. Because here's the thing. I would look at one of the girls that you think is the least committed, and I would say, if I buy out your dad, he's going to have that money to give you when he dies. Would you rather have that money or would you rather have this place? Sometimes people don't even think about that stuff. And when you put money on the table, sometimes people go, hey, I'm out of here. if they were shoehorned in, as you said, so that's kind of how I would play this. I think you got a conversation that's not going to be, again, I say, hey, I'm buying the dinner and we're going to get a private room where there's no sound problem. Everybody can hear. We're going to be real kind and clear. And I would go in with 3 or 4 bullet points to say, these are things I want, and then you guys tell me what you need from me. And I'll spearhead it. I'll help move it forward. But sitting with not knowing is not good for our company. It's not good for our customer. We're going to start losing team members, and we're going to start losing customers eventually if they don't see what our plan is. Because the ones that are counting on us long term to deliver can't count on us if they don't know what's going on. And guys, I can't. I'm here. I'm here to help. How can I move this forward without being a jerk about it? And I think you can. You got a good spirit about you, Andrew. You're not. There's nothing bombastic or crazy or immature or over the top with you. I think you're in good shape.